We live in a world where the sun has set, where our divinity is lost, where death is only the beginning. The world of KULT Divinity Lost is vast. The story begins with the Demiurge, a being of immense power who ensnared you and the rest of humanity, forcing you into submission. He forged 10 principles with which to bind humanity and diminish their divinity to nothingness. But things began to tear apart. The power of the Demiurge weakened as humanity questioned the structures of faith and politics that kept them enslaved. The divine order was thrown into revolt, and the worldviews that held humanity captive for thousands of years began to fall apart. Now the boundaries of the illusion are weakened, and you are one of the rare few who have begun to peer through the lies. Looking through the tears and cracks of the illusion reveal a world much darker than the one you thought you existed in. Grim buildings, dirty stone facades, and darkened doorways may lead to labyrinthine border worlds where pale beings dwell in perpetual shadow. Demons and other tormentors spiritually torture the mentally ill. Cults worship strange gods and commit murderous sacrifice. Terrors dwell within you, and as the illusion weakens, your nightmares take shape, your dark secrets haunt you, and the perverse appetites of mankind bring about unspeakable creatures of flesh and fear. You will seek to discover your origins, find the pathways, reveal the magic of the illusion, and journey towards that dim light of your true divinity. As a character in KULT Divinity Lost, you will become involved in events that are tied to your past. Perhaps your sins have caught up to you. Childhood fears may resurface in nightmarish form. The things that we deal with daily, so common they're almost forgotten. Mental illness, anger, desire, pain. They may all manifest in new and haunting ways. You must journey into those dark places. KULT Divinity Lost is a role-playing game best suited for groups of 3 to 6 fearless participants, with one of them taking the role as game master, leading the conversation and managing the story and rules. If you've never played a role-playing game before, it's very simple and fun. In KULT Divinity Lost, the game master is tasked with describing the scenes and people that you will encounter, overseeing events, and asking you what your character will be doing. The Game Master controls the non-player characters, also known as NPCs. Your character is a player character and will be referred to generally as a PC. The Game Master, or GM, will describe what the NPCs say and do, and in turn, the PCs describe their thoughts and actions in response. This interaction is formatted as a conversation. Here's a great example from the core rulebook.
It's 8:20 in the evening, Saturday, November 22nd, 2014. Heavy sleet falls onto the streets of Stockholm, turning the ground into brown slush. People are hurrying, almost running, through the ice-cold downpour. John, you're hanging out by the slab on Sergel Square, standing underneath the roofing of the subway entrances. You're waiting for your contact at Daily News, Johanna, to show up. You decided on meeting her here at 8 o'clock, but now it's 20 minutes past, and Johanna is always punctual.
I'm sure I arrived here a while before 8 just to make sure I wouldn't miss her, so I've been waiting for a fairly long time. I'm probably pretty nervous, considering the people pursuing me, so I'll give Joanna a call and see if she picks up.
Alright, you call. A few rings later, Johanna's voicemail picks up and asks you to leave a message.
Shit! I'm pretty sure something must have happened. What if they know I'm here? Out of habit, I start fiddling with the gun in my inside jacket pocket.
You are aware there's a pretty large number of police on the square at this time on a Saturday night.
Oh yeah, true. I glance around nervously and stop messing with the gun.
You continue waiting there. As the minutes tick by impossibly slowly, hundreds, maybe thousands of people hurry by you and out into the wet square, heading towards the surrounding buildings to escape the weather. You're just about to get on your way when you finally spot Johanna.
Oh, damn. I approach her quickly.
As you start walking, you notice the men following really close behind her. Johanna's got the hood of her jacket up, but you can still make out the heavy bruising on her face. Something is terribly wrong here. What do you do?
Fuck. I don't know.
Do you continue approaching her, or do you just stay out on the square?
The conversation between the GM and player continues in this fashion, letting the group discover what happens next in the story. Maybe the GM will switch to a different PC, describe a scene, and ask the player what her PC does, or another player is introduced into the scene.
Mary, you are crossing Circle Square on your way home from work when you suddenly see John standing in the middle of the square. He looks panicked and is staring at a woman further down the square. She looks familiar, but you can't remember from where. What do you do?
In the other parts of this series, we will dive further into the player mechanics you will need to have a more complete understanding of how the game works. But here are some basics. KULT Divinity Lost uses a modified, Powered by the Apocalypse game system, whereas most Powered by the Apocalypse games use two 6-sided dice, or 2d6. KULT Divinity Lost uses two 10-sided dice, or 2d10. Rolls of 15 or higher are considered a success. Rolling a 10 to 14 is a success with complications, while rolling a 9 or less is considered a failure. When building a character, you will choose an archetype and then adjust your character's attributes. PCs have a list of standard moves based on their attributes that they can use, as well as personalized advantages based on their archetype. PCs are also hindered by dark secrets and disadvantages that fill out your character and their past, as well as help establish the story to come. In KULT stories, you are awakened to your captivity, and despite everything you thought you knew, you realize now your life has been a lie. As your reality slowly falls apart, you will experience the darker world waiting for you in the shadows. You will confront unthinkable horrors, and if you survive, you will be changed. You will have to make pacts with terrible entities and elude dark and sinister forces. You must try to find the truth that has wrecked your existence and the horrors that come with it. Where to begin? There is a large assortment of resources available at KULTDivinityLost.com that can have you playing in minutes. While we recommend that you purchase a copy of the core rules, it isn't necessary to begin playing the game or even running a game of your own. There's a reference sheet with all of the player moves, blank character sheets, and more. There are several quick play scenarios that include everything you need to run the scenario, as well as optional pre-generated characters tailored to the story. Visit KULTDivinityLost.com for more details. In the next video, we will take a closer look at roles and moves. Thank you, Helmgast, for producing this wonderfully dark game and cooperating with my madness. If you liked this video, please hit the thumbs up and the subscribe buttons. Don't forget to click the little bell so you don't miss out as new tutorials are released. Thank you.